Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sports Addict, where sports it's all that matters. My last video, I talked about the projections of who's going to the playoffs, who's going, the probability of going to the playoff, making it to the Super Bowl, and so on. But for this video, you know, we already passed week 15. Week 15 was yesterday, last game, Monday Night Football. And stuff like that. Falcons at the Raiders and stuff. But for this video, I thought I'll give you guys the power rankings entering week 16. Counting week 16, we have 3 more weeks counting week 16 of the regular season. None of the seedings are determined yet. The Chiefs hold a 2-game lead on the number 1 seed and stuff, but I'm not going to talk about the seeding right now. I'm going to talk about the power rankings. I'm going to start off with the top 10 teams in the power ranking. Then I'm going from the 25th ranked team all the way to the worst team. So just keep in mind, I'm going to be skipping some of the teams. So if your team is not in the power ranking, you can leave a comment down below, stating where your team is ranked after week 15 if I don't mention your team in the top 10 or in the top, or in the worst teams. But let's get through it. Eagles are ranked first. They're 12-2. This is what they say about the Eagles. To all my Eagles fans, Philadelphia passed its way to victory over Pittsburgh, and everything was suddenly okay again in Eagle Land. Last week's drama did admittedly feel spicy at first, but the high heat wore off pretty fast for me. Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown did their best to dose any narratives out about off-field Kermering by connecting 8 times for 110 yards, a touchdown, and a celebration that Brown explained was intended Tyree to shut up. That's what he quote. That's what he said. Got it. Devon Smith silenced anyone questioning his health or role in the offense, giving Philly a true two-headed monster against Nice to know that Barkley doesn't have to deliver a sonic boom every week. The league's leading rusher can have a relatively quiet day, 65 rushing yards on 19 carries, and the Eagle can still roll against a good defensive team. To boot, even when Hurts' first quarter fumble, he and Brown were dialed in early and often. This is really good football team that can hang with and beat anyone out there. That's what they say about the Eagles. Then we have second, we have the Buffalo that beat the Detroit Lions. Could it be a possible Super Bowl preview? Leave your guys' comments down below if you think it's gonna be Buffalo versus the Lions in this year's Super Bowl. Still early, the Chiefs I feel like are probably gonna take the first place, the first seed, and anyone has to go to the Super. You have to go through the Chiefs. I feel like because the Chiefs have only lost one, the Bills have lost 2 games, but the Bills are behind the Chiefs by 2-game differential. So it's gonna be an interesting finish for the Buffalo Bills and the Chiefs. So the Bills are second. The Bills. This is what it says about the Bills. For all my Bill Mafia watching this video. The Bills now beating the Chiefs. The Bills have now beaten the 13-1 Chiefs and the 12-2 Lions. See, it will be an interesting finish. You know, the Bills should be considered a top contender. They beat the 2 best teams of both conferences. They beat the Chiefs. So if the Chiefs somehow end up losing their final games, or somehow they tied in the Bills tied the Chiefs in record. The Bills have the upper hand in the tiebreaker, so this should be interesting finish in the AFC. The Bills have now beaten the 13-1 team 12-2 line and have topped the 30-point mark for 8 straight games as it is true of Detroit, but to lesser degree Buffalo's season could have hanging on how healthy the defense is when the playoffs roll around. The Bills also have a lot of work to do if they are to steal the top seed in the AFC to earn a first round bye. Then again, there's always the Josh Allen counter argument that the quarterback might just be good enough to blow torch opponents submission defense be damned in two consecutive contests. The Bills D has been run over with the secondary being in particularly rough shape, but Allen nearly brought Buffalo back the first time and never true in the second. He's your MVP until further notice, and he might give the Bills the best chance to win a Super Bowl now or ever. Because the Chiefs, let's be honest, Chiefs have not played great. There's a lot of controversy on how the Chiefs have won because Mahomes has not looked that great in some games. But I don't know how it will affect his injury. So the Chiefs, even though the Chiefs won, they're ranked third. So this is what they say about the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes' injury. The Chiefs finally secured their first comfort win in a couple months. The new drop that Patrick Mahomes is considered week to week when an ankle injury. That's certainly a notable development for a team in a strong to non-unaccessible position as the AFC top seed. The Bills still need to make up ground, but they closed out season games against the Patriots twice and the Jets. I mean, I'll say the Bills or wins. Those could be. I feel like those are wins in my opinion, but it can be a trap game. Playing against your division foe. With nothing to lose. They're probably gonna play upset the Patriots or the Jets. The Chiefs play three teams that are in the playoff mix: Texans and Steelers. I mean, for the Chiefs, the only teams the Chiefs probably will have, to will have a little bit struggle against could be the Texans and the Steelers. Especially if Mahomes doesn't play. But I feel like Texans and Steelers are gonna give the Chiefs a run for their money, in my opinion. But the Broncos, with Bo Nix, I don't think they're division foes, so they probably will give them a little bit of a fight. But I feel like the Chiefs will win. But the problem is, will Mahomes be there for those 3 games? I mean, I feel like he should just play those 2 games, and the Broncos, game he should sit. That's my opinion. But this is what I'm saying. They will potentially be weak without one for one or more of those. Like I said, for one or more of those, you know, that puts the target squarely back on Steve Spano defense. In my opinion, if Casey is going to hold steady down the stretch, that's the unit that must play its best ball. Sunday was a great start with the Chiefs pursuing James Winston instantly, but there's our tougher test ahead. It'll be unfair to not cancel down their peaking order without more information, especially given the team history and making li- people like me not look stupid. It says still, this is going to be tough. They'll patch. I feel like they say, defense wins championships. So the Chiefs' defense has to prove that statement is still true. Defense wins championships. If they're without Mahomes and stuff. Then its Detroit Lions dropped from the third rank to the fourth after their loss to the Bills. Really? This is what is it really? The one thing that Detroit couldn't afford was another round of defensive injury, it says, and then the Lions came out of their loss to Buffalo with a significant one suffered by defensive tackle Alim McKeel, torn ACL, cornerback Carlton Davis, fractured jaw, cornerback Khalid Dorsey, fractured leg. Yeah, Turchin hit a breaking point against the Nuclear. But Bills offense, which is why you saw Dan Campbell declare an outside down 10 points with 12 minutes left. It wasn't the wrong call. The Lions were not winning that game without stealing a postseason somewhere down the stretch, and as it was, they ended up falling by failing to recover the final outside kick in the winning sector while down 6 points. The hope now is that they can somehow get 3 or 4 defenders back to plug some holes on that side of the ball. Then again, the news the running back David Montgomery is done for the season with a torn MCL might loom just as large. This thing is falling apart at the seams and it's sad to see. Damn, that's crazy. Like I did not know David Montgomery was done for the season. That can be a problem for the Lions, you know. If somehow they don't get some of these defenders, and if then Dave Montgomery becomes an issue, not having them, I feel like the Eagles might somehow make it to the make it all the way to the Super Bowl. The Lions still I feel like still the team to beat. They're the number one seed still. But with all these injuries, I don't know. I don't know. Could they make it all the way to the Super Bowl? I feel like the Lions, since Dave Montgomery is done for the season, is next man up. I feel like. Then we have the Vikings. They are fifth. The defense set the tone in the first with 2 turnovers, one on downs and a strip sack by Jonathan Greenard. That's an internal through U.S. Bank saying the offense scored after all 3 stops, giving Minnesota the 13-0 halftime lead. Chicago kept hanging around in spite of the mistake as Sam Darnold threw a second quarter pick and found himself in a third quarter funk. But Darnold ripped a beautiful pass to Justin Jefferson to set up the Aaron Jones touchdown. The Viking cruised from there. There was another statement victory against a team Minnesota thoroughly around against and almost lost to. In Chicago, it was also the Vikes' seventh straight win, giving them more positive momentum heading to the stuff on the sled at Seattle versus Green Bay at Detroit, with Detroit aiding in the top seed still within reach. Minnesota conference has to be soaring. Then the Packers, they moved up from the 7th rank to the 6th. This is what they say. The offense slowed down the second half on Sunday win at Seattle, but the 1-2 punch of Josh Jacobs and Jordan Love was too much for the Seahawks to handle early on. Jacobs have been a terrific fit for the Packers after many questioned them going big at the position in free agency. He adds a physical tone to the offense that complements the array of other playmakers. The aerial game was clean and fluid, producing 4 plays of 21 plus yards. 4 different pass catchers. Romeo Doubs had 2 terrific touchdowns and hit first 2 in more than 2 months. Jaden Reed rebounded from a blanking last week to average 7 plus yards per touch. It was also a good game for Green Bay emerging defense. That unit might have its hands full against the line, but the Seahawks were putting for the Packers without Geno Smith at quarterback. I keep saying it is this is what it says. At quarterback, I keep saying it, but this team remains dangerous. I agree with that. I feel like the Packers might be a team, a dangerous team in the playoffs, especially with all those injuries the Lions have. I mean, my early prediction that I haven't mentioned in any video was Packers at Lions for the NFC Championship game. So I don't know if, you know, I mean, I know it's still early, but that was my early pick after, 15 weeks of the NFL. Packers at Lions for the NFC Championship game. But we'll see what happens. Then we have the Ravens at 7. They were at 8. They went up 1 rank. There was a brief moment in the second quarter when New York cut Baltimore lead to 14-7, invoking flashback of losses to the Raiders and Brown earlier this season. Such though will quickly dispel. The Giants are not a good team, and the Ravens very much are one, even if their weekly knack for racking up penalties is becoming a bit silly. That's really the one obvious thing outside of a real Lamar Jackson dud that could stop the group this group in the playoff, Derrick Henry had his light game work-wise, and Border Steel Roll Jackson was special. Again, and likely would be the least MVP favorite if not for Josh Allen. And the fact that Jackson took home the hard work last Sunday was a child's play for him. After the early fumble, getting Rashad Bateman back in a feature role was also a nice development. Then it says this was one of those how bad was it really losses. Pittsburgh clinched a playoff spot and can still win the AFC North this Sunday in Baltimore. Yeah, the offense really struggled, but the Steelers were without George Pickens. That's fair and worth nothing. Then again, and it says I spent the week lumping these guys in with the upper tier of teams in the offense out of a squad that belongs there shouldn't be so overly dependent on one receiver. Plus, a defense considered by some to be one of the league's best was humble more often than not. The Eagles threw the ball all over the field Sunday and still owned time of possession despite not running that well. That plus the ankle injury suffered by TJ Watt left me with a bit of a bad taste in my mouth heading to the big one against the rival Ravens. That's what it says right here. That's what they wrote about the Steelers and why they have him ranked 8. Then ninth, the Broncos were ranked 10, or they were ranked 9. It says the Broncos notched a tough-minded win over the Colts, fighting back on a two-score defeat to run them out of the stadium in the second half, but it was no artificial performance. 3 4-quarter touchdown were that big difference with the defense contributing one. That was much needed because Bo Nix threw 3 interceptions, all when he wasn't under pressure and averaged 3.9 yards per pass attempt. Adam Truman scored a TD with just 5 minutes left in the first half. Then Bronco put together a tough drive that ended with just over 5 minutes remaining in the game. Between those possessions, the native 74 yards of offense. Knicks have shown go poise more often than not as a rookie, but Sunday was not his finest hour. The Bronco badly needed to add some fuel to his offense with the season winding close. Then rank the Commander were ranked 11, now they're ranked 10. Leading 17, they went into the third quarter with the Saints starting QB for the day bench. The Commander went into a shell. They grew conservative on offense, selling for one more field goal and missing another try throughout the day Sunday. They carried this with negative plays, totaling 8 sacks, 5 runs for negative yardage, and 9 penalties. They ultimately nearly gave up the game. Washington also was 2 all or nothing of undercutting big gains with yards. Jaden Daniel found some early rhythm and was accurate with the stroke, but the sack kept adding up. A playoff spot in 3 for the taking. The Commander keep playing with their food coming off their week 14 bye. They look sharp early and fizzle late, and their postseason credentials are certainly in doubt. This coming Sunday brings a telltale showdown with the Red Hot Eagle, which could reveal whether the Commander are capable of making noise in the playoffs, assuming they do it. In fact, get in. That's what it says. Now I'm gonna check the least favorite, the least, the worst teams in the power ranking. I'm starting at number 25 and going down all the way to 32. I think I'm not gonna spend that much. I'm only gonna mention who are the teams. The Browns are ranked 25th. I'm not gonna explain why they have them 25th. New York Jets are 26. They went up from the 27th spot. The Panthers are 27. They went down from the 26th spot. The Jaguars are 28. They went from the 29 to the 28. The Patriots went down to the 29. The Tennessee Titans are 30. The Raiders are 31. And the Giants are 32. I feel like most people, expected them to be there in this week's power ranking, and stuff. But, that's the power rankings, the top 10 team and, the worst teams in the power ranking this season, and stuff. My Niners, if you're a Niner fan like myself, we're ranked 18 in the power ranking. I didn't mention them. I was only going to mention the top 10 team and the worst team, but I didn't really feel like getting into too much into the bad teams, in the power ranking. But if I didn't mention your team, you could feel free to, comment down below where does your team rank after week 15 and entering week 16. You know, Thursday night football, that's when week 16 starts officially. But anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification button. And don't forget, this is Sports Addict, where sports, it's all that matters. Until next